Tonight on News 5 Live, blue bonds, supplementary funds, and the war on crime are the focus of the House meeting. Shots fired in Mayflower again, and a much-loved pediatrician battles COVID. Details of these stories and more coming up in tonight's newscast.
We have been a partner with Smart for over 10 plus years. We have a full Smart plan we use as our major driver for our business. We have a service that rolls over in that if you call one and it is busy, it rolls over to the next line. So once you call us, you can get us at any time. Before we got this Smart service, we were paying upwards of nearly $2,000 in phone bills. Since we've had our Smart service, we pay an average of about $600. So we've had tremendous saving, more than 50%. For the businesses, if you want to save money, switch to Smart because it is far more cost effective and the service is excellent.
Smart continues to be innovative in bringing new technology and meaningful savings during these challenging times to businesses across Belize. Sign up for our VoIP technology or broadband packages and save more.
Have you tried the Atlantic Insurance app yet? If not, you are literally missing out. When you request a renewal on your motor insurance policy through our AIC app, you automatically get an additional 10% off. When you use our app to request a renewal of your property insurance, you get a special discount. For new customers, the savings get even bigger. Request a quotation using our app, and upon acceptance of the business, you qualify for up to 30% on motor insurance. And of course, special discount applies for property insurance. Download and use our AIC mobile app today and save. Atlantic Insurance, insuring you from life's unexpected.
Have you ever wondered how to tell if someone is marriage material? Do you ever wish there was more to your marriage? Maybe you've asked yourself, how do I raise my kids the way God wants me to? Join us for our new series, Mixtape. We'll play through how God wants us to love the people in our lives one track at a time. Get ready to crank up the volume and tune in for advice God gives us in the areas that matter most.
Are you looking to invest in a growing free trade economy with ideal geographical positioning and existing economic partnership agreements with countries around the world? Perfectly nestled between Central America and the Caribbean, Belize is open for business with over $500 million in investment opportunities in industries such as agriculture, aquaculture, tourism, and much more. Register today to participate in the Belize Investment Summit 2021 and find the investment opportunity that's right for you.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Tuesday, October 26. I am Sabrina Daly. The Briceño administration is making good on its word following an announcement on September 3rd that government would be working to restructure its external indebtedness by retiring all of its U.S. dollar bonds due in 2034. This would bring some finality to Belize's crushing super bond. By entering into an agreement with the Nature Conservancy, the government would seek to achieve a sustainable debt position and achieve certain marine conservation objectives. The House of Representatives met today in special session, and among the bills that were tabled was a resolution authorizing the purchase and redemption of GOB's U.S. dollar bonds. The proposal came before Parliament this afternoon as the Blue Loan Agreement, the Conservation Funding Agreement, and the Ancillary Agreements Motion 2021. It's a move that will see over $500 million Belize dollars being struck off from the country's external debt. Prime Minister and Minister of Finance John Briceño introduced the bill and explained what it means in terms of huge savings.
The results of our negotiation, that 45% discount will wipe away $257 million US dollars, or more than $500 million Belize dollars that Belize owed from principal, capitalized interest, and past due interest. And the principal reinstatement has been averted. That's another 58.4 million US dollars that we averted by these negotiations. Therefore, the total debt reduction, including the principal reinstatement we dodge, is a staggering $315 million US dollars. The motion and the bill today requests this chamber's authorization to pay off at the discount bondholders who have tendered their holdings. Those holders who have not tendered will have a period of 2 years to collect. At last report, 87% of bondholders had, by tendering, endorsed Belize's offer, far exceeding the 75% supermajority our team had sought. The money to pay off the super bond is coming from the blue bonds, a financing mechanism designed by TNC, the Nature Conservancy, and their banker Credit Suisse. Belize will access some $363 million US dollars of these bonds for the following purposes: $301 million for the discounted repayment of the super bond, $24 million to pre-fund a marine conservation endowment account, $18 million set aside as an original issue discount in order to facilitate a low interest rate.
The conservation component includes the setting aside of key areas in the country that will be designated for protection and management. A majority of those areas, according to Prime Minister Briceño, fall within the Bacalar Chico National Park near northern Ambergris Caye.
The new areas to be designated by Belize will be in our exclusive economic zone, not in our inner waters where our fisher folks go and fish at the moment, and there where the limit of the no-take zone has been reached. We have already reached the limit within our inner waters. And the designations will be done based on proper consultations, taking into special account the livelihoods of fisher folks and the well-being of our coastal communities. Government will designate the remaining public lands within the Belize Barrier Reef Reserve System as mangrove reserves. The vast majority of this additional acreage, 98% in fact, is already located in the Bacalar Chico National Park and Marine Reserve, 98%.
The Briceño administration, after having introduced a new budget for the fiscal year 2021 at the end of March, has tabled a bill that would make way for an act to appropriate additional sums of money for use within the existing financial calendar. It was the first of two proposed laws described as General Revenue Supplementary Appropriation Bills. The government of the People's United Party, returning to Parliament 6 months into the new fiscal year to have approved extra monies to carry over the public service until March 2022, has been met with cold water by the opposition. According to Leader of the Opposition Patrick Faber, what is being presented before the House of Representatives is lacking in details, something that the former Chief of the Public Accounts Committee railed against when he was on the other side of the floor.
We have to determine that what he's asking us to approve today in retrospect is basically what they overspent. He came to this honorable house, for instance, Madam Speaker, and said that they only bought, I don't remember the exact number now, and he actually specified what vehicles were bought. Now we're seeing in the supplementary that almost $500,000 was spent on vehicles between his Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Health. We see, Madam Speaker, again, some spending that has happened here with very little details happening, something that the member for Kaya South used to complain profusely about, but now he seems to be presiding over.
Just in response to the Leader of the Opposition, most of the projects that have been mentioned are projects that we inherited in the pipeline. The Caracol Road, for example, is one of them. So it's not a project that was initiated by us, but in reality, it is a project that we saved $28 million on, something that you all did not even conceive of. The other one is the Halover Bridge, again, a project that we inherited from you all, but look at the figures. We saved another $28 million on that project by looking at and analyzing the project. And so, in reality, we have saved approximately $56 million just on those two projects, Leader of the Opposition.
You had your turn. It's our turn. And that's what we are doing. We are governing this country in a manner that the people are going to benefit, and particularly the rural areas that were abandoned are now going to participate meaningfully in the development of this country, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, I want to end by saying that I lend my full support to this appropriation bill because we have a government led by our Prime Minister that has a heart for the people of this country, given all the challenges that we have faced because of COVID, the bad economy that we inherited. We are doing a lot.
Prime Minister John Briceño explains that the need for additional monies arises from the previous administration not adjusting for the decline in revenue during the 2020 fiscal year. As for the so-called sparse details that were presented with the first supplementary bill, the Minister of Finance castigated the Leader of the Opposition for those comments.
We have to bring a supplementary bill because you did not make the necessary adjustments. When you were bringing supplementary bills last year, you were not making adjustments to your revenue. The revenue was down by about 30%. So obviously, if we are operating based on what you're saying that you're going to collect, obviously we find out that we are short of money. Thanks to you, you did not make the necessary arrangements. That is why now we have to make the necessary adjustments, Madam Speaker. I mean, most of my friends, most of the members of on this side of the House have been answering to the points that the case that he's trying to make when there's absolutely no case. You still embarrass yourself, my friend. Let me point out something, Madam Speaker. He says that we are not giving details. Now what you want me to put that we are buying 5 pounds of soap and so many paper and so many pen? Obviously, that does not belong in a budget. Either you don't know better or you're just trying to create mischief. Eat one or the other. You decide. But certainly you're embarrassing yourself. But let me remind you, here we have a supplementary budget that your government presented to this National Assembly on the 3rd of February 2017. A supplementary budget of $14,336,508. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 items, 4 line items, 4 line items. I know you come here and complain because we don't put how much paper we buy, how much pencil. I mean, the face of brass of this gentleman that you are going to complain. For the very first time, we have a government that is giving details on the money that is being spent, and you are still complaining.
Former central bank governor Gustavo Manuel Vasquez demitted office abruptly in mid-August when his appointment as head of Belize's monetary authority was cancelled by the governor general. Vasquez succeeded Ambassador Joy Grant on April 1st and, during his short-lived tenure, was unable to see eye-to-eye with the bank's board of directors. Vasquez's sudden departure meant that the financial terms of his 5-year contract had to be honored. While the figures for his annual compensation have been tossed around, this morning, during the sitting of the House of Representatives, the question of Vasquez's termination package was raised. Here's the exchange between the Prime Minister, John Briceño, who is also the Minister of Finance, and Albert Area Representative Tracy Tager-Panton, as she attempted to get specifics.
And the member mentions a 5-year contract with a level of righteousness that is greatly misplaced. Would she wish for me to cite the many 5-year contracts awarded by the UDP government? Those 5-year contracts were not awarded at the start of the term, but shamefully at the close of their term, when everybody knew, including them, that the UDP was going to be voted out of office. And then there is the ministers, the members' public double dealing. You see, not wanting to miss an opportunity to grandstand, the member posted on social media that, quote, while I never personally met the good governor, multiple reports say that he is a man of integrity, his life's work and experience speaks volumes, end of quote. I must agree with her on that matter. But 2 weeks after the post, she tables her question here, giving the impression that something is sinister with the settlement of a commercial matter by the central bank, a settlement for the very person she proposed to defend a few days before.
I don't think the Prime Minister read the question properly or heard it properly. Could the Prime Minister share with this Honorable House the exact figure that was settled for the contract that was paid out for the former governor of Central Bank? He mentioned, Madam Speaker, amounts that were his annual salary. I would like to know the full settlement amount paid to the governor of the Central Bank. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Okay. I will allow it as it is on, it's asking to elucidate the answer, Prime Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I was being kind to the honourable member from for Albert in responding to a question that I had no, that I did not have to answer. I was trying to be kind to her. That what she seems to not understand, that this is not a matter of the government of Belize or the Minister of Finance, but it is a matter of this Central Bank or the Belize Central Bank of Belize. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The scourge of violent crimes across the country that continues to threaten citizen security remains an issue of national importance. The number of gang-related incidents that are being recorded on a daily basis is cause for concern. And that enduring problem is not lost on the former leader of the opposition. Today, he asked for an update from the Minister of Home Affairs on the rollout of government's crime prevention strategy.
Will the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and New Growth Industries please update this Honorable House as to his implementation of the crime prevention strategy to combat the disturbing surge in violent crime and murder?
Those in the courts will recognize that we have begun to turn up the heat on gang members, fast-tracking and prioritizing prosecutions of gang members. Our strategic meeting with officers at the prosecution branch was refreshing. The pressing resolve was clearly welcomed, and the good officers are more than ready to execute. For a long time, gang members with outstanding fines and warrants skirted the consequences of their failure. We have activated a program specifically to execute commitment warrants against these gang members. We want them off the streets, and we want them off now. In this regard, we have also assigned senior investigators to follow up and shore up cases involving gang members. The detention and conviction rates will eventually make a life of crime less attractive. This should make the parallel installation of social and rehabilitative programs more attractive. We have every intention of working with those who want to turn their lives around, but we also have every intention of targeting, disabling, and removing those who wish to terrorize and kill. We realize it will be a bumpy process, but enough is enough. Our administration, Madam Speaker, has since engaged the Kabe offer to make Belizeans safer and our department stronger in the areas of infrastructure, personnel, and uploading our vision of utilizing innovation and technology as a key weapon in fighting crime. In that spirit, Madam Speaker, we can announce that we will be securing from Kabe close to 100 more CCTV cameras and 6 more mobile units to increase the eyes and reach of Belizean law enforcement.
Coming up, a beloved pediatrician down with COVID. Find out more from his friend and colleague, Dr. Cuellar, when we return.
Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "And now behold, I go bound in the Spirit unto Jerusalem, not knowing the things that shall befall me there, save that the Holy Ghost witnesseth in every city, saying that bonds and afflictions abide me, but none of these things move me. Neither count I my life dear unto myself, so that I might finish my course with joy, and the ministry which I have received of the Lord Jesus, to testify of the gospel of the grace of God." For the last 15 years of his life, British evangelist Leonard Ravenhill and I were the dearest of friends. No one ever influenced me more because of his prayer life and deep commitment to God. I shall never forget his being in his office on one occasion when he related to me that he had met a great Christian man at a church in Dallas whom the pastor highly trusted, who could manage his savings he had put aside for later years. Sometime later, I was back in his home when he shared with me that his friend had lost everything he had entrusted to him. I could detect no animosity in his voice or demeanor, no sense of fear for his loss, and no desire for recompense. I remember turning to him and saying, "Dr. Ravenhill, does this not bother you?" Without batting an eye or a quiver in his voice, he took the high road that the Apostle Paul took when confronted with what lay ahead of him, and humbly said, "None of these things move me." Don't allow Satan to threaten your victories for tomorrow. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
So I'm going to wonder if by chance I could get your number. Digi. Nice.
Of course, you have digital, right?
Yeah, of course.
The truth is, your credit lasts way longer with Digi. Like if you top up with like $30, that could last you 90 days. With the other guys, that must say 60. Then with the other guys, you have to use all of your good prime credit before you even touch your bonus credit. But with Digi, you could use your bonus credit before you even touch your prime credit. Like, what are the point to have free credit if you can't use it how you want? So, what are your number?
Just give me one moment.
The truth is, only Digi offers nationwide LTE coverage, fastest mobile data speeds, and the best call quality.
Businesses across Belize, both large and small, have been severely impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic since March 2020. To assist these businesses to reinvest, restart, and recover, the Government of Belize and the Central Bank of Belize have partnered to establish an Emergency Business Support Program, EBSP, which will make low-interest loans capped at 4.5% available through participant banks and the DFC to micro, small, medium, and large businesses that qualify. This program will be managed by a newly created special purpose vehicle named the COVID-19 Financing Limited, which will be funded by the government and the Central Bank of Belize. Eligible borrowers may use the loan for the following purposes: to restart business operations, to recover from pandemic effects, to engage in foreign currency earning business, or for working capital. Loan proceeds shall not be used to repay previous or existing loans or taxes, nor be used to pay dividends, share buybacks, or otherwise directly benefit owners and controllers of eligible borrowers. Small, medium, and large businesses can apply at participant banks or the DFC, while micro businesses can apply through the DFC or the National Bank of Belize. The target date to launch the EBSP is November 1, 2021. Learn more about how your business can begin to reinvest, restart, and recover by visiting www.centralbank.org.bz.
A police officer is being accused of shooting an 18-year-old from Belize City in the stomach. The victim is Jason Smith, and according to witnesses, a police officer shot him indiscriminately. But an official police report says officers were conducting a search on several male individuals in an open lot behind the Zoe Ministries building when a struggle ensued. The report says police heard 2 loud bangs, which sounded like gunshots, and as a result, they fired shots into the air to disperse the crowd immediately after they realized Jason Smith was injured. Police say 2 expended shells were found in a nearby yard. News 5's Paul Lopez was on the scene shortly after.
Residents from the Mayflower Street area in Belize City confronted a group of police officers just after midday. The confrontation was preceded by an incident on a nearby open lot. It is alleged that police shot at Jason Smith Jr. We spoke to the grandmother of the alleged victim.
Police mobile was passing on a cycle, one on cycle, and apparently they stopped and came after them and told them that they have guns, the girls that they have guns. They stopped and searched them. My grandson then told them, we don't have any guns. We are just celebrating our family's birthday, which is today.
An amateur video shows the confrontation between police and the youths. As seen in the video, an officer attempts to detain one of the 2 young men. A scuffle ensued. Jason Smith, the young man in the blue shirt, attempted to intervene between police and his cousin. A second police officer held Smith at a distance. The video does not capture the remainder of the physical altercation, as the officer and the young man went out of the frame of the video. Seconds later, several shots are heard. One police officer is seen in the video firing a warning shot in the air before pointing his rifle in the direction of Jason Smith Jr. The video also does not capture the moment the police officer allegedly shot Smith to the stomach.
They fired about 4 shots in the air, as my grandson stated. And with that, he started running. And when he ran, they shot him. And then the barrage of shots started coming out from the police. I don't know how much vehicle there was, because I still was afraid of going downstairs due to shots that was being fired still.
Smith collapsed on the steps of a nearby home. He was then rushed to the KHMH with a gunshot wound to the stomach. And even after Smith was shot, his cousin and the police officer were still in a scuffle.
He said that the bullet, according to how it seems, it went in his stomach. I don't know.
Did he say how police managed to shoot him in the stomach?
Yes, he told Mr. Rosado everything about it.
Was he facing the police, running from the police?
He was running. He was running because it's from behind. So automatically, if you had a gun, you don't have. Then they shoot you from behind. Then they have to serve and protect, but then they serve and protect. Then they abuse people. Then they abuse for them power what they have.
Information to News 5 is that police initially approached the individuals for loitering. Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
On Monday night, security guard Andy Smith lost his life in a traffic accident up north. Around 9:45 p.m., Smith was traveling in a Nissan Pathfinder, heading towards Orange Walk, but lost control of the vehicle between miles 45 and 46 on the Philip Golson Highway. The 58-year-old was found dead about 10 feet away from the extensively damaged SUV, which had collided into a lamppost. Smith's body was transported to the Northern Regional Hospital, where it was pronounced dead on arrival. Family, friends, and medical professionals are at this time praying and hoping for pediatrician Dr. Cecilio Eck, who is tonight critically ill with COVID. The pediatrician's illness is a massive blow to the profession and the many little patients he treated over the years. Internist Dr. Fernando Cuellar tells us more.
Let me say first and foremost, I've gotten the consent of his wife to say anything regarding Dr. Eck. And indeed, it is with heavy hearts that we're in the medical community, yet one of our own is falling, no? Has fallen critically ill, as sick as anybody can get with COVID, pneumonia, and the effects of COVID. Unfortunately, we had to intubate him this morning and ventilate. And I say we because we have a collaborative effort with all the doctors in Belize, primarily myself, Dr. Hidalgo, Dr. Arriaga, as the lead physicians. No? We see him together, we make decisions together, and that is where we are. The virus is a beast and has ravaged his lungs, and in discussions today, the medical community is suggesting that we speak more towards mandating vaccines, for example, so as to lessen the transmission. I heard members of the association pushing for that, no? That we as a community come out stronger in mandating vaccine, because it has affected healthcare workers a lot, not only in Belize, but worldwide. No? The statistics, the data shows that the unvaccinated get sicker more. We're not saying that when you get vaccine, you have a bulletproof vest on you, but the numbers are there. So you stand more chances of falling ill and dying not being vaccinated. Dr. Eck is vaccinated, and this is one, and I know that these are the examples that people who are against vaccination will use to point fingers. No? Dr. Eck came back, I think it was about 15, 16 years ago in 2005 as a pediatrician. He has worked in the government setting since, and he has also his private practice. And indeed, very well liked pediatrician by both parents and children. No? Dr. Ike is really soft-spoken. He's not as mouthy as myself, but he does his own quiet, important contributions, and especially in the public setting. No, he has worked with the Carl Huschner quite a bit. So I think that's his main forte in helping underprivileged or people who do not have access to private health care. So that is indeed a very stellar career he has carried so far. No? I would just finally want to say that his wife has asked me to convey to the Belizean public to hold him in their prayers and let us all hope for the best. And just ask everybody in Belize to pray and hope. If you're religious or not, if you want to pray to the universe or to any specific other, please do not, because this is a good man and has contributed and been very productive.
After the break, will the shipping crisis on the West Coast affect your Christmas? Find out more when we return. But first, here is a look at the latest COVID-19 figures.
Welcome to Samsung's awesome experience right here in Belize. Come check it out. Not sure which Samsung Galaxy A series is right for you? Touch, play, and learn about your device before you buy. Once you've purchased your device, you can now benefit from the full Samsung service experience. Your phone is covered by a 1-year local warranty. This includes manufacturer defects and software and hardware issues caused by the manufacturer. Enjoy your phone with peace of mind knowing that your Galaxy is protected. And when your warranty expires, you can still bring it to our certified Samsung Repair Center. Our technicians will diagnose and repair your device with Samsung original parts and machinery. Enjoy the Samsung experience when you shop at any of our authorized partners countrywide, including Cellular World, Digi, Odette's Home Center, Debari, Quartz, Shopigas, Gadgets, and Cellular Plus. Join the Samsung experience in Belize today.
The continued fight against COVID-19 requires the continued practice of public health measures across all sectors and in every community. Frequent and proper hand washing, wearing face masks, and physical distancing. Do you know who is not physical distancing? The Aedes aegypti mosquito. Did you know that dengue is the most common mosquito-borne viral disease in the world? So let's get to work. Use window and door screens to keep mosquitoes out. Change the water in vases and scrub inside surfaces to remove mosquito eggs. Avoid using saucers with potted plants to prevent collection of water. Securely cover water barrels and drums with mosquito netting and properly fitted covers. Scrub the inside walls of water barrels and drums with detergent 1 to 2 times per week. Walk around the outside of your home and remove or overturn containers that can collect water and become breeding sites. Mosquitoes only need a small amount of water to lay their eggs. Remove unwanted cans, bottles, buckets, or used tires. Other items still in use must be properly stored in covered areas to avoid water settling in them. Clean roof gutters and air conditioner trays. Debushing and removing tall grass from around your home or establishment is also key to reducing mosquito populations. Fight the bite and protect yourself and your family too from mosquito-borne diseases.
Stay safe and submit your sickness benefit claim form electronically. Follow these 4 steps. Step 1. Obtain your medical certificate. At consultation, the doctor certifies your days of illness and provides you with a medical certificate. Step 2. Fill out your sickness benefit form. Complete all the fields in parts 1 to 4 on the front page of the sickness benefit form. Step 3. Request your salaries record form. Contact your employer for your salaries record form. Step 4. Submit your sickness benefit claim form. Scan or take a clear picture of the sickness benefit form, salaries record, and proof of bank account. Email the documents to claims@socialsecurity.org.bz within 14 days. You will receive an email reply confirming receipt of your claim. After the submission of all documents, your claim is processed for payment to your account. For any COVID-related illnesses, contact the Ministry of Health for further guidance. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Bundle the fastest, most reliable, unlimited broadband in Belize with your prepaid or postpaid mobile plan or Netflix. You can bundle your broadband with your prepaid and enjoy 50% off all national calls, plus get SMS and data. Paid plans? Then bundle with any speed and pay only $25 extra monthly to enjoy unlimited smart-to-smart calls, plus 500 minutes, plus 6,300 megabytes of data. Stream unlimited HD movies and TV shows with our broadband, plus the Netflix add-on for only $30 monthly, and enjoy streaming on your laptop, TV, phone, or tablet. Visit a smart showroom near you to sign up or upgrade to the bundle that's right for you. Smart, bringing people together.
Drivers who use premium gasoline need to prepare themselves for a price hike on Wednesday. The Ministry of Finance announced today that the pump price of premium gasoline will increase by 35 cents from $11.76 to $12.11 per gallon. The prices for regular gasoline, kerosene, and diesel will remain unchanged. According to GOB, the price change reflects the current demand and supply conditions of crude oil in the international petroleum market and fluctuations in the acquisition price of refined fuel products in the countries from which Belize obtains its supplies. With all the shipping problems in the U.S. news recently, News 5 wanted to find out if Belizeans can expect problems with our own supply chains, especially for the upcoming holiday shopping. It is an important question because in 2020, Belize imported over $1.5 billion in goods. Just about half of those goods came from the United States of America. There is a possibility that the disruption in the global supply chain caused by a record backlog of cargo ships in the U.S. could have an effect on Belize. But the local market is not raising any alarms just yet. So far, the traditional routes used to ship items into Belize are not experiencing any problems. According to CEO at the Port of Belize, Andy Lane, the disruption is largely on the west coast of the U.S. Lane told us that Belize is connected to the world mainly through Kingston, Jamaica, and Kingston seems to be doing well. Additionally, Lane says the Port of Belize's volume remains down by 12 to 14% of the 2019 volumes, which means the port has the capacity to absorb any surge at this time.
The backlog that catches everybody's attention is that of California. And it's been like that for 9 months, and it will probably be like it for 9 more months. There has been some spread of the infection of congestion onto the East Coast. Savannah and New York are suffering a little bit. And then you've got some ports in Europe, and occasionally ports in Asia are also getting snowed under from time to time. But Kingston, which is basically Belize's gateway to the world, that's largely unaffected. They seem to have ample capacity, and it seems to be working at a reasonably efficient level right now. So this is not likely to spread wide scale and impact Belize dramatically. By my calculations, I think we have 55 to 60,000 TEU of yard capacity, or we have yard capacity that will support 55 to 60,000 TEU over the pierhead. Last year we did 36,000 TU, and this year we're heading somewhere around 39,000 maybe. So we have the yard capacity. Our constraint tends to be the fact that our little 67-meter berth, and we only have space for one ship at a time. That's sufficient to deal with the present level of demand. Where it becomes a little bit tricky is when we get ships bunching and arriving at the same time. And then we will see delays to some ships which have to wait for earlier arriving ships to get worked and clear the port.
News 5 also spoke to Vice President at the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Marcella Blake, on what the business community is saying about the state of the global supply chain as we enter into the holiday season.
At this point, our members have not reached out indicating anything to that effect, that in fact they are being impacted just yet. However, of course, if the situation prolongs, we can anticipate that there may be some impacts to Belize. When you look at what's happening there, while we had our members on our BP show last week, we're discussing the exact same matter, but of course from a global scale. What was highlighted in that discussion is that trading in the region, so within CARICOM, Central America, the US, was minimally impacted, any at all, by the global trends. What we saw is a lot of the products coming out of Europe and Asia, where there were issues being faced there, both from a sourcing standpoint, meaning the product and its availability, to the shipping and the shipping line. As you mentioned, the on-shelf, I think what you can accept is that you're seeing in some cases fewer brands on shelf of certain types of products. So some of your preferred brands may not necessarily be available every time you go to the shelves. And those are all impacts, of course, coming from not only shipping, but also the supply and demand aspect, where our members are searching or trying to bring in certain products, and that product is not available for them to get into country as they would want. The other thing there is you also have to consider the cost of bringing products in, because while we spoke about the congestion in California, quite a bit of our products come out of Europe and Asia, and of course the shipping costs there are going through the roof. And so that also contributes to the price increases, but it also has an element that I think there is some level of control where we can try and agitate, and I would say control, we can try and agitate with government to consider some kind of relief, which is the freight charge that's also included in the way duties are calculated.
Neither Vice President Blake nor CEO Lane anticipates there will be any significant delays in getting those Christmas items delivered to Belize on time. It is also not expected that your supermarket shelves will run low on supplies for your Thanksgiving and Christmas meals. While your favorite brands may not be as plentiful, Belizeans should be able to find what they need in local products.
What we could highlight to the shoppers out there is that when you look at that basic meal or staple meal, majority of those items can be sourced locally. So again, it's looking at what we have locally and being able to utilize those. So if there is in fact going to be, and I'm not saying that there is, but if there's going to be any delay, there's always a local option that we need to always remember and consider. So when you want your ham, there's local ham, there's local turkey. Your rice and beans, it's grown here, So it is that you could still have a good Christmas and a Thanksgiving meal with things that are all locally available.
And while Belizeans can rest at ease knowing the local market is at no immediate risk to international events, The supply chain could be interrupted by local factors. Today, Port of Belize Limited entered into negotiations with its stevedores over a sugar redundancy package. As was reported before, stevedores are requesting compensation for the income lost with the departure of ASR BSI's sugar ships to Big Creek Port. CEO Lane says he is hoping for peaceful negotiations.
We're looking forward to having this meeting. We've tried to arrange it for the last couple of weeks, and the union hadn't been available for a number of different reasons, but I'm pleased that at least we can go ahead and start these discussions now. I don't know how far we can get towards an agreement today. You know, in terms of compensation, we ourselves do not have compensation. We do not have that from BSI. We will not have it, do not have it, and will not get it from the government, right? There are a number of different things that we can do in terms of the way we're organized to make the work of the stevedores more regular and to help them a little bit with their cash flow. Certainly there's things that we can look at there. But, you know, just to manage expectations, there is not a big pile of cash on the table to be distributed out. And that's not necessarily the same perception that's shared by the union or the stevedores. So we'll have to go through these very difficult discussions. I hope that they will remain objective and that people will be pragmatic. I pray for peace because we don't want to have any disruptions to the supply chains. I mean, that's a greater risk than what I talked about before in terms of port congestion, right?
Just ahead, find out what is on the agenda for Belize's Investment Summit in November. But first, here's a weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
Following the COVID-19 vaccination, some people may experience side effects such as soreness at the injection site, chills, nausea, body aches, or a fever. But these symptoms go away after a few days. These side effects are a result of your immune system responding to the vaccine and are not a sign that you are sick with COVID-19. The COVID-19 vaccines will not give you COVID. When you receive your vaccine, the health worker will advise you what to take if you are experiencing any of these side effects. Remember, these mild side effects cannot compare to you not being able to share memorable moments with your family and friends if you fall gravely ill from COVID. Vaccines bring us closer.
It's a fact that your credit lasts longer when using Smart. During these times, we're all trying to find ways to cut costs and save the little resources we have. With Smart, it's easy to do that. It's a fact that with Smart, your credit lasts longer. You can call Smart to Smart and Smart to Digi using your promo credit, while with the other guy, you can only call OnNet, Digi, or BTL numbers. What does this mean? You get to call any national number using your promo credit. Your promo credit is free, so that call is also free. Know your facts. Don't be tricked by the other guy. Be smart and save your dollars.
Nestle. Start healthy, stay healthy.
As one of the largest cable and internet providers in Belize, CBC strives to provide our customers with the highest standards of quality, value, and service in all aspects of cable TV and internet. Monitoring our systems closely, our technicians combine creative planning and state-of-the-art technology with years of experience and training to develop and provide the most reliable and advanced cable and internet service to exceed your expectations. For CBC and our team of talented engineers, technicians, and customer service representatives, delivering less than the very best is never an option.
The first ever recipient of the Dame Manita Gordon Scholarship at Galen University is Santa Elena resident and talk show personality Cassiana Lind. Lind, a graduate of Sacred Heart Junior College, is being afforded the opportunity to pursue a bachelor's degree in secondary education with minors in Belizean history and social studies. While the full scholarship was just officially handed over today, Lind began the journey from September. Today, she was just as excited about the official handing over because she had the honor of meeting Governor General Froila Salam.
When I first found out, I won't even lie, I was shell-shocked. Like, I was super just shocked. I didn't even know what to think. I was like, are you sure? Are you sure it's me? Like, do you have the right person? Like, Cassiana, like, let's spell my name. Like, is it me? And they were like, yes, it's you, you know. So I was super shocked, but honestly so grateful and so humbled by it. I clearly have a huge passion when it comes to my country. I love to understand not only our history, because I do believe that history repeats itself until we learn from it. So I love to delve into our history. I love to learn about, you know, what makes Belize so unique, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful. I love it all. So I do believe that that program was the best program for me so that I can get a more comprehensive understanding of this country that we call home, and hopefully pass on that knowledge to others in the classroom and also out of the classroom, you know.
Do you think that all the work that you've put in, it's paying off for you? That's what paid off with you getting this scholarship?
Definitely. It was no easy path at all. I mean, my associates took me a while, so I don't want anyone to look at this and say, okay, she got it, like she went on a clear beaten path and she was just like one straight path and that was it. Now she got a scholarship. No, it was a lot of bumps in the road, a lot of wrong turns, a lot of U-turns, a lot of reverse and stuff like that, you know. So it was a lot of work, but it does pay off. And even if it's not a scholarship that it pays off with, you know, for other people, it will pay off somehow. But you always need to just trust the process, literally, because sometimes the tunnel looks so dark, but you still just got to trust the process somehow. You know, believe in yourself, I would say, blind belief in yourself.
The Investment Policy and Compliance Unit at the Ministry of Investment is upgrading how business is conducted in Belize. Director of the unit, Lincoln Blake, told News 5 today that the new policy looks at much more than just protection for investors, and that Belize abides by the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force.
Several legislations and regulations that would affect that specific criteria of starting a business. When you're dealing with, for example, dealing with construction permits, to deal with the legislation under the Central Building Authority, all right? So it's an entire legislation. And then in the case of getting credit, deal with central bank, deal with the different banking regulations, all right? And sometimes the ways and the means of how a country allows those different investors or different individuals to access credit. So it's more than a simple requirement. It's a complex network of policies, regulations, and the requirements that it seems it is simplified, but really and truly it's complex. We have amended several legislations with banking regulations, and that's why you see that we have a lot of requirements now when you go to deposit in the banks. When you go to the bank to get a loan, and you get, there's a lot of requirements now. You can't just open a bank account like before. Those requirements are because of the criteria.
The granting of licenses to investors also includes a background check through the Financial Intelligence Unit and Interpol. The investment policy amendments presented today are timely, as Belize's first investment summit is scheduled to begin in just 2 weeks in San Pedro. That event is expected to draw interest from investors, not only from Belize, but also from the region.
Belize needs a push in its economic growth right now, and it's this is one of the initiatives that we have of many. Of course, we have interest from not only foreign but also local investors to participate in this event, because this event is, I call it a meeting place for investors, where you might have there might be business ideas, or there might be business prospects or concepts, and where they could meet, those individuals that have those could meet with investors that actually could find a source of funding. And the idea is to have that location where a meeting place where those could meet and could actually make the actual investment happen. And we have a lot of interest from Central America, Mexico, especially considering that the Prime Minister had recent visits there. We have the chambers of commerce from especially from Guatemala and Mexico, having significant interest in participating in this event. We also have interest from the United States and some from other countries.
The event will be a hybrid run, involving investors attending in person and virtually. Potential investors who would like to register online to take part in the Investment Summit can do so by visiting the website at investmentsummit.bz. Up next, Coastal Awareness Week kicks off virtually. We will have details after the break.
What is the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine? The Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine is an RNA vaccine that triggers our immune system to develop antibodies against the SARS-CoV-2 virus that causes COVID-19. It helps to reduce hospitalization, severity of the disease, and death. What is the Pfizer vaccine made of, and is it safe? The Pfizer vaccine is made up of mRNA messenger ribonucleic acid, which are molecules that carry the genetic information needed to make proteins, lipid, salts, and sugar. It is safe for persons 12 years and older and does not contain the COVID-19 virus, hence cannot cause infection. Tests have shown that the vaccine is effective against current virus variants. Who should take the Pfizer vaccine? The Pfizer vaccine should be taken by persons 12 years of age and older who do not have severe allergic reaction after a previous dose of vaccine or have not had severe allergic reaction to any ingredient of this vaccine. 2 doses of the vaccine are required 3 weeks apart. If you are between the ages of 12 and 17 years, you are required to present a signed consent form before you are vaccinated. What are the side effects of the Pfizer vaccine? Some common side effects of the Pfizer vaccine are headache, fatigue, muscle pain, fever, chills, and swelling at the injection site.
If side effects persist, contact your doctor as soon as possible. Does the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine prevent infection and transmission? No, vaccination alone does not prevent infection and transmission. We are still required to continue to wear masks properly, physically distance, wash and sanitize hands often, practice proper coughing and sneezing hygiene, and avoid crowds.
Is always with you, from live TV, sports, and on-demand titles. Choose your plan today. Plans start as low as $15 per month. My TV, entertainment, anytime, anywhere.
When something is good and you can save, that makes it even better. Like this guy. He buys Flex bundles using his promo credit. No worries when his primary credit is finished. He gets talk, text, and data for free. Or her, she calls her family internationally with her promo credit. And with data packages so affordable, she even does video calls. Smart continues to offer great deals and affordable promotions. As a small business owner, she saves when she uses her promo credit to call the other guys. All Smart customers enjoy more triple days and knowing they can use their promo credit, which just lasts longer. Smart, bringing people together.
This week, during Coastal Awareness Week, there is a series of activities including virtual sessions and panel discussions. Including among these was a session on the Ministry of Blue Economy, which is the first for the region. The mission is to have a productive, resilient, and vibrant blue economy in Belize that is contributing sustainably to the socio-economic well-being of the country and its people. And to improve the livelihood of all Belizeans, there must be a robust, science-based management of Belize's aquatic resources and space. During today's virtual session, coordinator and liaison officer from the Ministry of Blue Economy, Emil Gomez, spoke about the National Blue Economy Framework for the country.
We are very aware that blue economy is a multifaceted sector and it interlinks with all these different beautiful interactions within the environment, and it doesn't just come on its own. So as a ministry, we have highlighted the following sectors of interest that we want to work on. These include aquaculture, blue carbon, renewable energy, fisheries, marine research and development, ocean and coastal tourism, maritime shipping and transport, marine protection and management. At the ministry, we have been working diligently to complete our National Blue Economy 5-year strategy and plan / the Maritime Economy Plan for Belize in partnership with the UK government. And the overall objective is to grow the national economy such that the country becomes economically resilient and less reliant on financial aid. So it is intended to reflect the aims of the Commonwealth Charter and have highlighted key sectors for development. When it comes to coastal development, our aim is to have a fully integrated coastal zone management plan so that it can be applied for the decision-making processes of all coastal developments, and that we have a climate resilient coast available for protection of the life and the properties for coastal risk and climate change, and that the ecosystem services are fully integrated in what is the decision-making process.
UN Sustainable Development Goal number 14, entitled Life Below Water, speaks to conserve and sustainably use the oceans, seas, and the marine resources for sustainable development. A recent report shows that more needs to be done to protect marine resources. But there are many challenges. Marine pollution, port and shipping sustainability are among the issues that must be addressed in the blue economy.
More than 80% of all cargo and more than 71% of all tourists arrive in Belize Straits network of ports. So marine transportation and the shipping industry and ports are crucial sectors of the blue economy concept. Ocean-going vessels emit significant pollution that not only affect populations living near and coastlines, but also those living hundreds of miles inland. Some of the disadvantages that we see right now at this moment is that there is a lack of a national ports policy. In terms of the port development infrastructure, port digitization, as I mentioned previously, in terms of outdated BPA regulations and laws. So all of this have to be in formality in terms of the best practices, regional, international, and also the domestication of those international conventions. And we have to look at the risk analysis involved in terms of the port development.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.